My dudes, there is a lot to talk about when it comes to chasing Kaleidorider because there's like, oh my god, like the game looks absolutely insane. And when I say insane, I'm talking about a lot of stuff seems to be coming through about this game in regards to its gameplay, what it resembles, like the, different animation styles, and it's a lot to take in when you first look at the trailer. However, I'm hoping that today, with the little bit that I'm going to be talking about, hopefully I'm able to at least answer a few questions or maybe even get a couple more sprung up. I don't know. I tried to do as much research as I possibly could about this game, so please bear with me as we talk about it. Of course, if you like the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Chasing Kaleidorider comes out, or video comes out. Sorry, my bad. But yes, also check out GamerSupps. Use code TYSTRA for 10% off. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive in to Chasing Kaleidorider, and let's look at the things that we saw in the trailer. Now, of course, the first thing I want to talk about is the company Physically, which I've done a little bit of research, and I've heard a little bit from other people that Physically is relatively new, but they are in partnership with Tencent, so that's why this game's been able to come to fruition. And for a brand new studio with a brand new game, it seems like it's going to do really, really well. When it comes to the animation style, I will say that these cutscenes were a little bit weird. Like, these cutscenes seem to be in like 30 FPS one moment and then 60 FPS in another, as you could kind of see here. But that's mainly with these, cutscenes in general. Because even right here, you could kind of see as it transitions into a more 60 FPS type of deal. When it's talking about the characters and their individual, characteristics, it kind of really dives deeper into these characters in general, but the 60 FPS is mainly what we want to talk about, and it looks really, really good, at least when it comes to the menus and everything like that. Now, I did want to pause right here on this thing because there's a lot to really take in with this, and I'm going to be spending a little bit of time on this menu, right? Because for me, I like to look at menus and see what we're looking at. So from what it looks like, we have a little heart on the top, or not top left, but on the left corner of where the levels are. And that heart kind of reminds me of what HSR does with favoriting a character. So probably if you heart something, which you could see on here that a dodo is not actually hearted, if you heart someone, they pop up at the top of your list or to the farthest left of your list. In this case, it's going to be the top just because of the fact that we have a vertical character selection. Now, as we go on, I noticed that there's the little refresh arrow right under there, and I'm thinking it's kind of like Nikke in regards to resetting a level in case you leveled up a character but you want to get your resources back, which would make sense because a lot of games actually do this nowadays comparatively to some of the main open world gacha games, or at least that's how I feel about it. Now, of course, we also have level grade, which we see in English. Now, with level grade, it makes me think that that's the Ascension level, because just below it, we see the actual levels right there. Or maybe level grade is just part of that, and level grade is just the 1 of 20. I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing right here. Maybe it will kind of correlate with each other. But, of course, the first Ascension goes all the way up to level 20, and then that's when you would ascend. So, there's at least that. Now, there's also a couple other things I want to talk about. When it comes to the stats, we know that there's going to be HP, attack, and defense. But the last three are kind of harder, right? At least the fourth one. Because 5 and 6 are pretty understandably crit rate and crit damage. Now, I went ahead and put through like Google Translate to try and find out what this fourth option could be. So from top to bottom, here's how it looks. We have HP, attack, defense, critical mastery, crit rate, and crit damage. And I have a theory about critical mastery. I think what that could be, if translated properly, and it would make sense because of the first two kanji right there, it would make sense for crit mastery to be some sort of amplifier. And let me explain. With crit rate, you have your ability to crit, right? That's the percentage that you will have to be able to crit. Your crit damage is the crit rate, or your damage amplified by ×2 or ×3 depending. So my guess is that this crit damage is going to be at a ×2, and at crit mastery, it means that it's going to be amplified more if you hit the roulette wheel. So picture it as like a roulette wheel. You're getting your crit, right? And you hit the crit damage, right? But what if there's another part of the wheel that says amplified crit damage? That would be, I think, where crit mastery falls into play and how that's going to work. Now, of course, it's a flat characteristic instead of a percentage characteristic. So I'm really, really torn on how this is going to work. But it does make me curious in a good way, because I haven't really paid attention to other games that might have something like critical mastery. The closest thing that I've seen is maybe elemental mastery from Genshin Impact. But again, like, it could have been in another game and I just don't know. Now, another thing with this menu is the 4 tabs on the side, because I think the bottom 3 little buttons don't really matter. That might be cosmetics and stuff. But the 4 on the side is what really intrigues me, especially when it comes to a gacha game. So our first tab obviously is the informational page, where we see all of our information in regards to our rider. The second page, and you'll kind of see it when we go through here really quick, and boom, your second page is going to be your talent / moves page. So where you level up your cards, because the cards are going to come into play when it comes to the combat. So for me, I look at this and you can see basic attack, passive, from there, and it goes into like levels. So this is going to be the talents page. The third page, which we don't actually get to see too well, is what I think is going to be kind of like a relic / artifacts page, which would make a lot of sense because of how the symbol works. So there's that. And then as we continue through the trailer, boom, we have our fourth page, which is going to be where we get our little bike. And the bike is going to be basically like how ZZZ has a W engine, or, Wuthering Waves has the weapons and all that stuff. This is our weapon for the characters. Like, this is what's going to, like, attach to those characters. So if we're summoning for characters, we're going to be summoning for these bikes as well. Now, I also want to dive into the combat, because from what it looks like, it's going to be very slick and stylish. From what I've been able to tell, it's a mixture of turn-based / kind of a Nikke style background. And what I mean by that is, like, in Nikke, and many Nikke players, you could probably testify to this, while you're on one of the characters that you're playing, the other Nikkes are shooting and doing damage. So this is kind of a combination of that turn-based / Nikke style, where you'll use your cards as a possible power-up. The more you play, the more it's going to get a little crazy. Like, this character, I'm loving already. She's fantastic. She's married now, guys. You can't have her. But yeah, overall, the combat looks really slick and stylish. It looks like it's in constant fluid motion, so that's what's really cool about that. One last thing from the trailer that I want to talk about is that it seems like our main character actually gets kiss time, baby. That's right. Our main character actually has the ability to come into contact with these, like, riders. Like, to me, that's already big. And maybe that's the gooner part of me, because it's like, bro, if you're going to be surrounded by all these hot characters in general, whether it's women, male, whatever you're into, you would think that as the character centered around your anime harem, you would be able to, like, engage in some little bit of love interest, you know what I mean? And that kind of goes in with, like, the companion story stuff that might be going on, where you can increase your levels with that. But I think that this is already a big thing for storytelling, because it adds that little extra factor, like, oh, this guy is a freaking, dude who's just making out with everyone. Like, I don't know. It just adds a little bit something different to it. And I feel like with Physically, they're not worried about actually showing that type of stuff on their game. And that could be a detriment or a good thing. We don't know yet. We don't know how this is going to, like, play into the actual story, and if it's going to affect it in the way that I think it's going to. And now the final thing I want to talk about is the characters that we know so far. So let's go ahead and talk about them. First thing, we got Adoldo, which seems like the little sister type character that's really just going to annoy the heck out of our character. But she's got really, really cute movements in general. Seems like she's very animated. Then we have Prom, who is going to be like the silent / love interest of our main character, from what it seems like. Maybe he just loves everybody, but she's the one who actually gets macked on by the main protagonist. So there's that. My favorite from the starter chicks and this is like the first 4 starter chicks that I think is going to happen. Nana, she is hot. I love her. I love the whole poker card thing because I'm a gambler. It's just how it is. So I'm really liking her so far. And then, of course, the 4th one, which is UC, who's the rocker chick. I'm kind of whatever with her. I don't really care. And then we got some of these other characters that have been announced already. We got Zola, who is, not gonna lie, pretty schnazzy. I'm digging on her a little bit. My wife, Shikibu, and my God, she is hot. Tectone, you can't have her. I will fight you for her. I will fight for her honor, man. And that's all the characters that are announced so far. So let me know which one that you're most interested in when it comes to, you know, chasing Kaleidorider. And that's all that I've really got for this. Like, comment, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Let me know what you're most excited for chasing Kaleidorider. And let me know if I missed anything that seemed to be very important. Honestly, I'm really hoping that this game does take off because it seems like it's going to be really, really fun. I'm very, very excited for that. So definitely let me know, and we will see you guys in the next video. Please take care and be safe.